Hello, beloveds. Uh, just joining you today to speak a little bit about co-creative prayer and wanting to make a distinction around what I mean by co-creative prayer and how that might differ from other ways that you may have been taught to pray. You might hear a little bouncy ball around. I have a 2-year-old puppy. Some of you know this, Zuma, and he wants to play ball, so he's dropping his ball for me. Um, in any case, when we're talking about prayer, there's several components that are from my perspective, especially when we're talking about co-creative prayer, several components that are part of this. And it's kind of important to speak to each of those. That way we can speak about how we might pray in a way that is truly engaging that co-creative potential that we have when we're in communion with our highest self, our greatest wisdom and source. And so I'm going to speak a little bit about these kind of like two orientations that relate to two kind of basic laws that operate in our universe. So one might be called the law of manifestation or the law of attraction. And we'll speak just briefly about that. And the other might be called the law of grace or the law of divine intervention, divine support, and how we merge these two to really enter into co-creative prayer space. So, one of the pieces of awareness that comes out of the work around the law of attraction, law of manifestation, is an understanding that our desire and our vibration matter in terms of what we are attracting in the world, and that our language is powerful. Our language is co-creative. We are literally weaving our reality in part by the words that we choose, and even more than that, by what those words evoke or invoke in our vibrational frequency and in the vibrational frequency of the field around us. And so when we're engaging in co-creative prayer, we keep this in mind and we choose language that is very purposeful, that links directly to our desire, and that speaks from the perspective of the blessing is already so. The blessing that we are asking for, the prayer that we are wanting answered, we speak it from the perspective of it is already so. And so it might look like this. Let's say I'm hoping that my words come through and the transmission of love and light come through on this little video. And so my prayer might be something like, I am vibrating with divine possibility. I am an emissary of light and wisdom, and I'm so, so grateful to be a vessel through which the divine pours. Thank you. Right. So this may be the languaging rather than please help me to be. There's nothing wrong with please help me to be. Don't get me wrong there. I'm just speaking about this particular side, this side of the law of attraction or manifestation. And what happens when we choose our language and we language it as though the blessing is always so, and we enter into the gratitude that it is so. This is very, very potent. We understand that the power of gratitude is immense. We're starting to have some really beautiful research coming out of, for example, HeartMath Institute, showing what happens to the coherence in our system and in our heart when we're in a state of gratitude. And certainly there are other potent states as well, but gratitude is a powerful co-creative state. And so I'm going to park that there. This is the little side about the law of attraction, manifestation being the vibration that you seek. And then I want to speak about grace. And this is where we enter into an awareness that there is a higher intelligence, that there is a flow of love and light that desires to support, that desires to uplift. And this love and this light has many forms and vibrates in many frequencies. It vibrates in nature. I'm in this beautiful garden that I'm blessed to cultivate with my sweetheart. And it vibrates in the frequency of love that we have for one another. Um, it vibrates in the frequency of what some people might call angels or guides or guardians of light. It vibrates in the frequency of ascended masters, of deities, and of the source of all of that. And so we can tap in depending on our orientation, depending on what our unique vibration is, to so many sources of grace, so many sources of that vital, life-giving energy that is nourishing to our experience here, that is supportive of our fulfillment here. And because we live in a dimension where we actually do have choice, many of you who've worked with me understand this in our biospiritual system through what we're tapping into when we're doing muscle testing or pendulum testing. Like, we come locked and loaded with a yes-no system to calibrate to what serves us and what at any given moment doesn't serve us. And when we're balanced and harmonized, that can be a powerful system to access. But this is tied to our free will and our choice. And this is where the invocation of grace becomes important, because the grace is there, it's there for us. But when we call it forward and we ready ourselves to receive it, that is a very powerful thing to do. And so in co-creative prayer, we're engaging both grace and the awareness of higher forces of energy that are of love or light and beauty, and the awareness that we have within us, the power coming from our desire to clarify what we want, to become the vibration of that which we seek, and to literally live in the now moment of the blessing received. So in co-creative prayer, we're merging these two things together. We are both invoking and claiming, and simultaneously opening into deep receptivity and also deep surrender. So we can understand that there is that higher intelligence, that higher wisdom that may know better at any given moment than we do about what truly serves our greatest fulfillment, or someone else that we might be engaging in co-creative prayer for, or something else that we might be engaging in co-creative prayer around. That there is this higher intelligence that may know better than our desire, that may be holding a broader scope, a bigger picture than we can from our particular vantage point. And so surrender becomes essential. And so I want to speak about that for a minute. I want to speak about receptivity a minute, and then we can talk about how to literally craft a prayer. So surrender is about the devotion that understands and knows that source of love and light and beauty, and seeks to allow that to drive, that seeks to allow that to lead, that seeks to allow that to manifest and co-create. And so the surrender is not about letting go of our desires or letting go of our needs, or in some ways thinking that we are not an essential part of the equation. We are. And whatever we're experiencing in any given moment is an essential part of the equation. But there is a potency that can see more, can feel more, can hold the scope of our incarnation in ways that we sometimes can't. And so we're surrendering to that wisdom. We're saying, to the extent that I know, here's my prayer. And to the extent that I don't, I open to the blessing in whatever way truly serves the highest and best good, not just for me, but for all my relations, for the benefit of all beings. This is the second piece around surrender, is that we are surrendering to the awareness that we're in a field of energy, and we are but one frequency in that field, and we're essential and important and vital. There is no one like us, and yet there are lots of other beings in that sphere with us. And so our prayer of surrender is surrendering into the knowingness that there is an interdependent field of energy, that we are interdependent with others. And we allow for our prayer, our co-creative prayer, to be for the benefit of all, not just for us or the singular person or path or project that we might be bringing our light to. One of the ways I think about co-creative prayer, and some of you may have heard me speak this, is shining the beloved. So I speak about the beloved being that divine force. And in that realm of beloved, there are so many particulars that I might call by name. But when I think about co-creative prayer for something or someone else, it's about sort of like taking my vibration, linking up to the beloved and shining that light wherever. When we're in co-creative prayer for ourselves or for another, we are always asking for and trying to create, if it's for us, a state of receptivity where we can receive the blessing, that we move into a place of yes, that we move into a place of willingness to be changed and transformed in the ways that our prayer might need us to be changed and transformed. Like, let's say we're looking for a new job, or we're desiring a different state of health, that we must change to be a match sometimes for what we're desiring. And so the receptivity is the yes, it's the willingness to receive and to be changed by the invocation of our co-creative prayer. So I could go on. This teaching could be much longer, but for today, I'm going to kind of bring it in, and we'll keep working with this. We're going to speak a little bit about the anatomy of a prayer. And so in the anatomy, there is gratitude. We spoke of this. There is our desire, our intent, spoken in the already so blessing form. There is the invocation of grace to bring about whatever is needed so that the becoming is in this now moment. There's the receptivity in us, and there is a surrendering to what might be higher, what might be greater than we have the capacity to see, know, or understand in that given moment. And so let's speak a prayer. There's a lot of turmoil in our world right now, and there are lots of emotions around that and lots of different directions, lots of energy that needs soothing. And so we'll speak a prayer together, and you'll understand how I pray as part of this co-creative prayer. And so I invite you to join me if you feel called. Mother, Father, God, Goddess, Source of all, I come to you in great humility, with desire that there be peace in the hearts of men. And I thank you that this is happening right now, that in this moment, peace is descending. I ask that you pour out your grace, and that each being who is ready is opening. And I see that happening right now. Each being that is ready for your grace is receiving. There's illumination happening in the hearts of all beings who are ready. And to the extent that there is more that I cannot see, a higher blessing than the one I'm speaking, I give permission and ask that that blessing flow for the benefit of all beings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, this is co-creative prayer. See you next time.